Call the meeting to order. A meeting of the Falmouth Planning Board, a regular meeting. I'm glad to see members of the public here. Thank you for taking an interest. And Pam, one of our members is here by telephone, and one of our members is missing at the moment. Are we expecting John?
No.
John's on vacation, so he won't be here tonight.
Oh, okay, then we're not going to wait for him. All right, then.
Want to introduce us?
Hmm?
Want to introduce us?
Yeah, we are. So could you introduce yourself?
Bob Leary.
Jim Fox?
Charlotte Harris?
Pat Kerfoot?
Paul Dreyer.
Did you want Pam to introduce
If she
herself?
can hear
You
us.
can introduce her.
This is Pamela Harding Barrett.
And
Jed Cornock, town planner.
And
Melinda Tondera, Assistant Town Planner.
Assistant Town Planner. Okay, so, first on the agenda every time is public comment. Public comment is not quite what it sounds like. You're not here to speak on the things that are on the agenda. You're here, if you want to say something about a planning issue that's not on the agenda, now would be the time to do it. And if you want to speak, you need to come to the podium there and speak into the microphone. And when you do speak, please begin by giving your name and the matter that you're going to speak about. So, time for public comment. Anyone want to speak on something not on the agenda? No. Okay, next comes, because we've just had an election, the reorganization of the board. This is the election of officers, and we're open to nominations.
I would like to nominate Charlotte again, once again, to be chairman. But we first have to vote to set aside our planning board policy that allows only 2 consecutive terms.
Oh,
You forgot that.
I forgot it entirely.
So I would like to make a motion that we set aside that rule for the planning board.
Is there a second?
I'll second. I've had no problems. You did it twice for me, so I have no problem with it either.
Okay, all in favor?
Just a question on that. Is that a one-time deal?
No.
No, they did it
Or
two.
permanently you're doing it?
No.
No, every time somebody.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but it's not a,
It's not forever.
It doesn't carry forward that
Oh,
she
you didn't hear
becomes
me.
lifetime chairman, no.
Twice, we waived it for myself in doing it. So I'm fine with doing it. It's a,
And I know we did for.
we've got the right person to do the job. We need to
Yeah.
have her do it.
Oh,
I'm
thank
not
you.
opposed to it.
That's
Have
like,
we got a second?
we
or-
still have to vote. Are we all in favor?
Aye.
This is setting aside that rule.
Yeah.
Next, nominations?
Wait, aye.
Oh. Paul? You voted?
And Pam?
Didn't hear.
She can't hear.
She can't hear.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, now, next, I would like to nominate Charlotte for chairman.
Second.
Are there other nominations?
Paul for secretary?
No, I'm
No,
for
that we
chairman,
gotta
one
do
at a
one
time,
at a time.
Okay.
one step at a time.
I guess there are not. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now,
Pam?
We don't need a vote. Let's keep going.
yeah, let's just keep, thank
Okay.
you.
Charlotte, had to say something? There's a time delay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's why she's waiting.
Oh,
You may
is
want to
there?
mention that
Yeah.
to the
yeah.
public.
Oh, sorry. All right, I'll try to.
She's
recall.
watching on television,
The vice chair
and there's a
now.
time delay for her to pick up. So she's awake.
It's like the news. Okay, Bob, you wanted to make a nomination?
Not yet.
Oh,
Vice chair.
vice chair.
Vice chair.
I would like to nominate Pat for vice chair. Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Pam? There we go. Now, Bob.
I'd like to nominate Paul for the recording secretary.
Second.
Other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you both for being willing to do this. Okay, now we go forward. The minutes, Paul.
Madam Chair, I recommend approval of the minutes of May 14th, 2024, as corrected.
A
Is there
second?
a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pam? This is like a minuet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
get a little.
Apologies for the connection. I don't know what the issue is, but.
I have a suggestion. Why don't we have her just listen and not watch it on television so we don't have to wait all the time?
I mean, we can try that. It's really what she's comfortable doing, and I think that,
I can tell you, I'm uncomfortable with the delay. It kind of takes me out of the process. It's weird.
It is a little weird, but we're accommodating. Okay,
Okay?
next on our agenda is a request for release of bond, Cobblestone Lane. Is the applicant here to speak to that?
Representing Leon.
Do you want to come to the microphone and present the matter?
My name is Annette Hutchinson. I'm representing Leon Pizzanall.
Jed?
sure, as the board is aware, the applicant submitted a letter on May 14th requesting release of the bond. This is for the Cobblestone Lane subdivision. Included in your packets is an inspection done by our engineering division, which is common practice when a bond release is requested. Outside of some minor issues inside this inspection, I recommend that the board release this bond. There's one bound that the engineering division couldn't locate, but it's not a corner bound. It's along the property line. I view that as a minor issue. There's 3 other bounds that were used. Rods were used instead of concrete bounds, but they were located. And then the one other outstanding issue is the street light. The street light is located in a historic district, and if you are familiar with that area, it's the Admiral Hat style street light. It is along Old Main Road. I've talked to the DPW about installing that typical Admiral Hat light, basically relocating the one from Winslow Road, which is just up the road, down to this intersection, and installing a new LED light at the intersection of Winslow Road because of issues related to safety. And so better lighting would be better at that location, and we would adhere to the historic quality of that neighborhood. So with all of that, I recommend that you release the bond. I think they've satisfied all the requirements of the final approval.
Paul?
Will DPW install an additional light?
Yes, they will.
Thank you.
This is
Any
the street
comments or
light.
questions from the board? Pat, could we have a motion?
I move that the board release the bond on Cobblestone Lane.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Pam? There we go.
There we go.
We're all set. Thank you. It's a very
Thank you.
good-looking subdivision.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, next. We have a series of approval not required plans. The first of them is the applicant is Anne McGrath, a plan of land to remove the existing notation on the plan of record located at 0 Beagle Lane. Is there someone here to speak to that?
I can,
Yeah, I'll speak to it. Anthony Sokolos for the record of Amen Clower. My firm doesn't represent the applicant. My firm represents the new buyers of the property. My understanding is that there's an A&R plan of record from like 1980 that has a certain note on it, and we're trying to remove that note from the plan. A new A&R plan has been submitted, and the applicant's requesting that the note the note from the old plan be removed.
Well, I see that the office review found that you meet all the requirements for the A&R approval.
And previously, we found this note had no bearing, that we can't do it, and we've already voted against using this note once, so it's an automatic.
correct.
Okay, we've
Correct.
already said that this shouldn't have been on there, it was inappropriate,
Correct.
so let's clean it up.
Yep.
It's my understanding as well.
Okay, we will do that. The recommendation is to endorse, Pat?
I move that the board endorse the plan as presented to us without regard to buildability or compliance with zoning.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Pam? Here we go. Okay,
Thank you very much for your
Moving
time.
along.
thank you. Next up, the applicant is No,
That's for the next one.
we'll save that one. H. Dennis Toner
pre-voting.
III, site plan review application to construct a detached accessory apartment at 452 Davisville Road. We've got a positive motion, we've already reviewed this. Bob, you want to read that?
Okay, draft, May 23rd, 2024, motion that the planning board votes to approve the application of T. Dennis Toner III for the construction of a detached accessory apartment located at 452 Davisville Road under section 240-12.2 site plan review of the zoning bylaw. Findings, the applicant seeks to construct a 761 square foot detached accessory apartment within the existing barn located on the northeasterly portion of the lot, which will be 20% of the principal dwelling. The property will now have a total of 7 bedrooms, 6 bedrooms in the primary dwelling, and a 1-bedroom accessory apartment. The applicant shows a paved driveway on the site plan, which appears to comply with section 249.1D1C and section 240.14.1E of the zoning bylaw respectively. There is an existing denitrification septic system on the property, which is proposed to be expanded to accommodate this increased flow. This proposed expansion will be subject to the Board of Health approval. The Planning Board finds that the information provided by the applicant conforms to all the requirements and findings pursuant to section 249.1 of the zoning bylaw. Conditions, the plan shall be constructed as approved. 2, no permit for full or partial occupancy shall be issued until the planning board is satisfied that the construction of this approved and predecessor approvals have been met. Let's see. Either the principal dwelling or the accessory apartment must be owner-occupied for a period of 7 months in every calendar year. Either the principal dwelling or accessory apartment may be rented, but not both. 5, an affidavit shall be submitted annually to the building commissioner signed by the property owner. 6, construction activities shall not cause erosion to or sedimentation into the abutting properties and town right-of-way. 7, the project shall not direct any stormwater runoff to public property, abutters, or public rights-of-way. 8, dry wells, rain garden, or other stormwater infiltration measures shall be installed for the new roof area at a minimum. 8, or 9 rather, the applicant shall post the address for this residence per section 99-1, affixing of legible numbers required, time limit for compliance.
Second.
There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
The matter is approved.
Madam Chairman,
Pam?
oh, sorry, wait.
I got it.
You got it? Okay, we're all set. Jim?
Just a quick question for Jed. And the next meeting or soon thereafter, could you give us an update of what's going on in the state level? I've heard that the state's getting ready to make these things by right, and we're not even, our bylaw will be not necessary. Could you give us an update that in the future?
Sure.
That's all.
Yep.
I wonder if it's likely to pass.
I don't know, but it would be nice to have somebody tell us what's going
Right, I
on.
saw that in the paper.
I'm lazy, I want him to do it.
They'll report it.
No problem.
No problem. Okay, moving on. The next matter before us is a public meeting decision that has been withdrawn. This is for the,
It's not withdrawn.
not withdrawn, it's being, we're looking for a continuance until June 14th. So we are seeking a motion to that effect.
So moved.
I would, if I may, I would couple that with an extension of the decision deadline. So they've requested a continuance to June 11th and an extension of the decision deadline to June 14th.
Want to reword?
Yep. Okay, so I move that we accept the request by the applicant for a continuance of this matter to June 11th with a decision by June 14th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Pam? All set?
Yep.
Okay, next, public meeting. Here with the applicant is Byron M. Thomas. Site plan review application to construct an attached accessory apartment at 27 Matoxic Road. Linda, are you presenting this?
No, I'm just
There are
getting it up.
notices. There are notices shown. You have
Well, you
notice?
want to read the notice?
Yeah, sorry. Madam Chair, the, excuse me, public reading notice for this project on Matoxic Road was published on May 10th, 2024, and 21 abutters were sent notice by regular mail.
Any comments by the board? Comments from the public? Would you please come forward and give your name?
I'm Steve Monas. I live at 16 Little Lane, which is a neighbor on the south of this property. And I just had a question really about the septic system. This is in a coastal pond overlay district, as well as being part of the Lockpoint Bay watershed. And my understanding, I looked at the application, I'm not a professional in this kind of matter at all, but it looks like there's an existing unit with 2 bedrooms, and the application is for 3 additional bedrooms in the new unit. It says in the application, which on a 41,000 square lot, I believe, is more than the bylaws provide for in this coastal
The
pond overlay
applicant-
district.
The applicant submitted revised plans today, and they're removing one of the bedrooms from the new primary dwelling. They're casing the opening and making it into an office, so now the property will have a total of 4 bedrooms, which is allowed because the property is 41,000 square feet. You can have 1 bedroom per 10,000.
Right, because we're seeing that what's right in front of us to be acted upon is that there are 2 bedrooms there.
2 bedrooms, sorry,
There are 2 bedrooms
in the new unit.
in the new unit.
Okay, all right, so it's compliant with that. I guess my general question is, what are the requirements for enhancing the nitrogen removal in the septic? Is there any, are there any additional requirements for this?
So if you go over 1 bedroom per 10,000 square feet and you're in a coastal pond overlay district, you have to put in an IA system, install an IA system, or something equivalent, I believe. And then if you're in a coastal pond overlay district and you already have more than that, you can keep that, or you can add if you have a nitrogen removal septic system.
Right, but in this situation, there's no requirement
Nope.
for enhancing?
No,
the-
because he has 4 bedrooms and he has 41,000 square feet.
Okay, all right. So it's just the old Title V septic?
Yes, I believe he got it approved from the Board of Health, and they would, I think they might have commented on this.
They did.
Jim?
Yeah, isn't this just solely a Board of Health issue and really not our issue?
It's a combination of the two.
So we do have a say.
We do. So in the coastal pond overlay, you're restricted to 1 bedroom per 10,000 square feet. So anytime you exceed that ratio, a denitrification system comes into play. There is a quote-unquote release valve, which is you can remove a bedroom and stay within that ratio if a property owner decides to go that route. So they don't have to put in a denitrification if they're willing to lose a bedroom,
Give up a bedroom.
because they're adding one in an accessory apartment. So it's sort of a wash, if you will.
But not the situation here. They'll have the
Correct.
same number of bedrooms they had before. They're just dividing them differently than they were in the original application.
No, they're actually
He was
removing one.
He was proposing a total of 5 bedrooms on the lot, but now he's removed one, and now he's only proposing 4
Right,
bedrooms
so he's
total.
distributing his 4 bedrooms that way.
Yeah, there were only 2 to start.
But that just came in today.
Correct, and you have the correct plans in your packets.
Okay.
Okay,
I would
I don't have
suggest,
any other questions then. Thank you.
thank you. Any other comments from the board?
perhaps you
We
might
would
want to
request-
let the applicant present what they want to do.
Is the applicant here?
I believe they are, yes.
Ah,
Yeah, so the whole bedroom really just came out, we put a 5-bedroom septic system in 2 years ago, brand new Title V. And I don't need the 5 bedrooms, I just thought I should apply for 5 bedrooms, but upon further review, you know, I came back with the whole 1 bedroom per 10,000 square feet. The 4 bedrooms is plenty enough. It's basically the accessory apartment really is for my parents, and my wife and I, and basically, I was gonna use that as an office anyway, so that's kind of why we changed the plans. And just, basically, we're working really hard to try to make, this is my architect, but we're trying to make it fit in to the architecturally, make it look like a barn, and just,
do you have the elevations here?
yes, yep. they're-
You
Scroll.
down, do you know?
I'll let you do it. So we've bought books to try to figure out a way to make it look,
So originally, yeah, so this is the house right now, right?
yeah, so the
This
existing
part?
house is in the front, and then we're gonna
Right here.
connect it, and then in the back. So, to try to make it look New England.
Mhm.
So this is this part, and this is the addition. And the existing house looks like that.
Oh, it's gonna be really different.
Yeah. Really nice, I think,
Yeah,
too.
very nice.
And another comment in the referrals from the building department was to, which you took care of.
We did, yeah, we took that out.
Right here, this is the main dwelling, the new primary dwelling. There was a door here that went up the stairs to the second level. And the building department requested that this be a cased opening too, to eliminate the privacy, because essentially, there is potential for this to be another accessory apartment. So we took away the privacy, so there isn't that option.
You need to keep your voice up.
Okay.
So the new construction is gonna be the main house, and the old house is gonna be the accessory?
Yeah, it is, it is.
Okay.
And the main reason for that really was just because to add on to the older house was, it's only 780 square feet.
Yeah.
And we couldn't make that work.
Make the numbers
Yeah,
work out.
no, makes sense,
No.
yeah. Yeah.
Yep, and that's what it looked like.
Nice change.
That
Any
way
other
the
comments?
accessory's one level, too.
Mhm.
Any more questions?
Any questions? I don't have any questions. Jim, do you?
It meets all the numbers, right?
Yeah.
And it's by right.
Yep.
So, no.
Right. So I think we could request a positive decision for our next meeting.
Yep.
Are you familiar with that process? Okay, we never approve on the same night that it's first presented, so we ask for a positive decision. You don't have to be here to listen to us vote the approval, but it would be a rare thing indeed for us not to. But you could come if you want. That'd be at our next meeting, two Tuesdays from now.
Yeah, June
Tuesday after
11th.
next.
June 11th, yeah.
Thank you very much. Next up, the applicant is Jean Kirby. The applicant is here. A site plan review application to construct a basement accessory apartment at 90 Pebble Lane.
Yes.
And you'll be presenting that
Their notices,
Yes.
Charlotte.
notice?
Yeah. Madam Chair, the public meeting notice for 90 Pebble Lane was published on 5/10/2024. The 24 butters were notified by regular mail.
Scroll down to the other.
This is the site plan, and I put a small part, sort of widened my driveway for, parking for the apartment. And this is the existing basement before the apartment. And basically, the apartment is this end of it, right here.
So the basement is already divided into rooms?
Yes, it was already divided, and it had a small half bath.
And it's a walkout from the back.
Yes, it's a total walkout in the back, and I upgraded the slider to more energy efficient. I put a window into the bedroom. It had just the an existing basement window, teeny little thing. So, this is the existing house. I'm sorry. This is the existing house. This is the basement. This whole area was existing, and there was an existing half bath here. And this is an existing bedroom. And I just upgraded the bathroom and added a kitchenette.
Where is the entryway?
The entrance is here.
And that's a sole entrance?
That's the entrance to the apartment, yes. And this is
Is there
the,
access to the first floor from the basement?
access to,
Can you go from the basement to the first floor?
yes, this is existing stairs.
Okay, those are the stairs, okay.
Yeah,
There doesn't appear to be a way to get to those stairs from,
not from the apartment, no.
right,
I mean, there is an access
Building code
door.
issue.
yeah.
That's for the building code to decide.
Yeah,
You've
She
got
has a
building code
egress
issue
window.
there on
it's
numbers
probably
of
an egress window.
Yeah, there's an egress window in the
Yeah.
basement,
That takes care of it.
in the bedroom. There's another window here,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah,
and
she's
then
covered.
there's another window here.
By egress, you mean the window's up and there's a window well and a ladder way that they can get out, or it's just big
No.
enough to get out?
It's
But-
open enough. I
Okay,
mean,
but
it's,
again, that is a building code issue.
Yeah, you'll be taking
Not
that
ours.
up with the building.
The
Uh-huh.
building
commissioner.
inspector will have something to say about that, not us.
see, there's the window right there.
Oh,
the new
yeah.
one.
If it meets code, it meets code.
Yeah.
That's all it
And
is, not our
the
job.
building inspector passed everything.
Yeah.
So
No, you've done your homework.
I made sure.
Yeah.
Other questions?
I wouldn't want to climb on it, but it's
I
okay.
wouldn't either.
No, I wouldn't either, but
I think this is an excellent example of an existing apartment
Yeah.
that came through the
Making it legal.
process.
Yeah.
making it legal.
Making it
Right.
legal.
Yeah.
Yes,
Up to
I
code.
made sure that I wanted to make it all legal and, so that I can have a safe apartment for someone to rent.
Well, you appear to have checked all the boxes.
I'll just mention something because I'm really familiar with these issues. The building inspector's gonna make sure that the walls are rated, fire rated, protected. I mean, when you're building underneath, the ceiling has to be rated. It's really hard to do. She's gotta work hard to get by the building inspector, and if she's done that, she's done a good job.
Yeah, I made sure that everything, the electrical is updated, the plumbing is updated, insulation is updated, windows are updated, so it's,
Just so the folks at home know, you just don't say it's gonna be an apartment. You have to build it as an apartment and make it meet code, and
Right.
you have to spend some money to do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
What did you do to the ceiling in the basement? Is
In the
that-
ceiling in the basement, I put
labor share.
fire-rated insulation in. So,
And then sheet rocked it?
and, no, I put a drop ceiling in, because I kept it because of code for getting access to pipes and electrical.
Mm-hmm.
So I made sure that
You made
everything
sure.
is, if there's a fire, so hopefully it won't spread.
Okay. We could ask for a positive decision for our next meeting?
Yep.
Okay,
Great, thank you.
thank you.
Next, Nicholas Yeba, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. Special permit application to construct 30 by
Nice.
16 and a half foot patio, which will exceed lot coverage by structures, driveways, parking, and paving, as allowed under section 240-11-3A at 444 North Falmouth Highway. We're here for, is it Mr. Yeba?
It is Mr. Yeba. Mr. Yeba is trustee of the, oh, go ahead.
Public notice?
Public hearing notice for this project was published on 5/10 and 5/17 in Falmouth Enterprise, and 33 abutters were sent by notices by regular mail.
Okay.
Okay, good evening, members of the board, Madam Chairman. My name for the record is Anthony Tsakalos, and I'm an attorney at Ahmed Clower. Here tonight on behalf of Nick Yeba, who's trustee of the Abbey Mariner Realty Trust, who seeks a special permit from the board to construct a 30-foot by 16.5-foot outdoor dining patio, which will cause the site to exceed maximum lot coverage by structures, parking, and paving. The applicant desires to construct the outdoor patio with pervious pavers and some ancillary landscaping for use of a new restaurant that'll be located and occupying one of the buildings on the lot. The patio will be located right at the front of the building. The site contains two buildings, formerly known as 444 and 448 North Falmouth Highway. It's now 444A and 444B North Falmouth Highway, on approximately a 1-acre lot of light industrial A-zone land on North Falmouth Highway, and is located directly across the street from the intersection of North Falmouth Highway and Edgerton Drive. Site contains lot area of 42,485 square feet, where 40,000 square feet are required, a lot width of 150 square feet, where 150 feet are required, and lot frontage of 279.58 feet, where 150 feet are required. Existing and proposed lot coverage by structures is 13.2%, which is well under the maximum threshold of 40%. Existing and proposed lot coverage by structures, paving, and parking is 71.3%, which exceeds the maximum threshold of 70% and is a nonconformity. However, the issuance of the requested special permit will correct the nonconformity. In terms of setbacks, the new patio will be set back 33 feet from the North Falmouth Highway, though the location of the building itself will remain the same with a 50.7-foot setback from North Falmouth Highway. Additionally, the site is not located within an area of critical environmental concern, is not within an area of estimated habitat of rare wildlife or within a priority habitat of rare species, and is not within the Zone 2 groundwater recharge protection area. No vernal pools on the site. In terms of parking, no changes to the site parking are being made at this time. The applicant will utilize parking as previously approved by the board. With respect to stormwater runoff, the drainage is existing. So Merrill, the engineering firm that submitted drainage calculations, did not re-review as the board previously had approved it. So no full report was prepared, as existing lot coverage is exactly the same as what is proposed. The calculations that Merrill prepared were for a 10-year storm, as is required under section 240.11.3A 5A of the zoning bylaw. If this were a new project, Merrill would have done a 25-year storm calculation. They basically ran the calculations at 70%, as if it were conforming, and lot coverage, 70% lot coverage as though it were conforming, resulting in runoff of 5,183 cubic feet per hour. And then at the existing and proposed 71.3 lot coverage, resulting in 5,230 cubic feet per hour, to show that the increase in runoff of 47 cubic feet per hour it results in an increase of less than 1%, which is basically de minimis increase, I would say. With respect to soil loss rate, Merrill ran calculation, again, as if impervious lot coverage was 70%. That is 29,740 square feet of impervious surfaces against the existing and proposed 71.3% impervious lot coverage, which would be 30,272 square feet, which results in an increase of 532 square feet of impervious coverage, or an increase of 1.8%, which is well below a 10% increase over the existing rate. Regarding average daily summer trip generation, Merrill anticipates that this will not exceed 4 trips per linear foot of lot coverage. Lot frontage is, again, 279.58 feet, so 4 trips per foot equals a maximum of 1,118 trips per day for the site. Merrill had some, there was a question as to the calculation, and I think I spoke with Jed about this. I forwarded him an email that Tim Santos of Merrill, showed what the calculation was. I uploaded that to Permitize, so you should all have those calculations. I think it results in total daily trips of 347 per day, which is well below the maximum daily trips of over 1,100 per day. And beyond that, the applicant's fine with any reasonable conditions that the board imposes on the project, and requested the board grant the special permit. And beyond that, I'm happy to take any questions from the board.
Jim?
Are we the special permit granting authority on this?
Yes, you are.
And why, usually when it's a lot coverage ratio, in my experience, it's been the ZBA, and I'm trying to understand what makes this ours.
I can't tell you why, other than to say the zoning bylaw says it's you. So in section 11.3A, an applicant is allowed to increase lot coverage over what's normally allowed by special permit by the planning board. You would think that it would be the ZBA, but in this situation, it is you folks.
Well,
It
is
doesn't
it because
specify.
it's it's like paving and ground and more site plan, but every other time I've seen this, and it's the house being bigger, it's always been the ZBA.
Trust
And I
me.
just don't,
It's a quirk in the bylaw that I have still tried to untangle, but it is clear that it is you.
Well, let us accept this
well,
extra
I just need,
responsibility.
I'm trying to educate myself so I understand these things, because this was dumbfounding. I'm surprised by this.
Well, we heard the one on Main Street here, that we're just gonna take over a sidewalk,
Yeah,
so,
that's where you're exceeding lot coverage as well.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
is this because it's commercial, or is the zoning?
I mean, I can read it to you for
No,
use.
I'm just asking your opinion. No, I don't want you to read through it. It just seems
Very good.
unusual, and I want to make sure I understand it, that's all.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Are you all set?
I'm all set.
You're all
Jed
set?
says it's okay, I'm
Any
okay.
other comments, questions, Paul? I think you're all set. Let's see. Is there anyone here in a butter who wishes to speak? Please come forward.
Thank you. My name is Ray Rowitz. I live at 28 Kirk Street, which is right behind here. We live right about at the north arrow. And there's a 66-foot section of where the bike path is here.
Yeah,
And then it's our house. I had a couple questions regarding the project. One is the hours of operation. Do you know that?
Not off the top of my head right now.
Okay. Also, is there music planned to be outside?
To the board.
They have not submitted an entertainment application or a liquor license application yet, but they're considering.
It's supposed to come up and answer
possibility,
that, that's not supposed to happen.
Sir, the microphone isn't what it appears to be. It's our contact to FCTV, and you need to come forward to speak into it when you speak.
Sure.
Oh.
Allow me to.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yes, regarding entertainment outdoors, the applicant hasn't submitted a liquor license application or an entertainment license application yet, but they're considering submitting both, and potentially they may request outdoor entertainment on the outdoor patio.
While you're standing there, could you point to where the patio is going to be?
Yes,
Point
sure.
On that plan?
So the outdoor patio is in this gray shaded area right here.
It's toward the street rather than at the back.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Another question I had was, has the owner leased the property yet?
Yes, the owner has executed a lease with a restaurant tenant that's contingent upon the granting of a special permit.
Okay, the other thing I had was, this used to be, or until about a month or two ago, it was occupied by capabilities. And they were great tenants because they had a trash hauler that would not haul trash before 7 a.m. Now, this is a quality of life issue. When the trash guy comes at 3:30 in the morning and bangs the trash cans, it's not good. But to be a good neighbor, if you could please talk to Mr. Yeba and make sure that they have a trash hauler that takes the trash after 7 a.m.
Comment on that when you have a chance.
Sir, I can assure you I'll bring it up to Mr. Yeba. I can't guarantee that the trash hauler comes before 7 a.m., but duly noted, and we'll try to make that happen for you.
Okay. Thank you. I had a business in North Falmouth for 30 years, and I had trash issues sometimes with the haulers. And they were very receptive to my needing the trash taken after 7 a.m. They will work with you. There may be companies that don't, but then get another company, because this is a quality of life issue, and it's important. The other thing is, the last thing, regarding your question, Mr. Fox, is this, the reason why we're here, it states that it's beyond the coverage for parking, paving, and structures. However, this is impervious. And so how does that relate to that particular article?
So, if I may,
I just said it was-
Jeff?
The site itself is currently non-conforming as to lot coverage today. And so your action by issuing the special permit will bring it back into conformity by allowing that lot coverage to be exceeded. My understanding is a mistake made by the property owner. You're correcting a wrong. It just happens to be that the patio is the item, and the change of the driveway, the circular driveway around the west side of the property, south side of the property, which sort of triggers this lot coverage exceeding. So by issuing your special permit, you'll be sort of bringing it back into conformity.
Does that answer your concern?
Well, I really didn't have a concern about that, except I needed a clarification. It didn't seem, it seemed that I was going to be going to the zoning board of appeals for this and not the planning board because of the excessive lot coverage. In other words, it was grandfathered, and in order to meet the requirements, it would have had to go before the zoning board of appeals and not the planning board.
But in every situation, as the bylaw says, for a lot that is not single residence, semi-detached, two-family, if they want to exceed lot coverage, which is what the applicant is looking to do, it's a special permit through the planning board. I know it seems odd.
But the thing is that it already exceeds the lot coverage, and this isn't exceeding the lot coverage anymore. This isn't doing anything to the lot coverage.
Correct.
In fact, if you'll notice on the plan, it's the same lot coverage existing as it is proposed.
Correct.
So there is no increase in lot coverage.
Well, there is, I understand what you're saying. If the applicant were at 70 and they wanted to come to 71.3%,
Yes.
they would have to come here.
Okay.
They're currently at 71.3, they're asking for 71.3. The end result is they'd have to come here, we're here, and now
Great.
it's a special permit
Okay.
request.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this application? Jim?
God, yeah.
Somebody in the back.
Sweltering
So
here.
let the public go first.
Oh,
Hi, my name is Sandy Bernstein. I am at 464, which is the next condo association up the street. My unit is, or my building is the one closest to 444 and 448. I'm sorry, I'm bad with names. As the previous gentleman had concerns about the noise, whether there be music on it, I also have concerns about that. Also the trash. I have been woken up many times in the middle of the night. Maybe not so much lately, but definitely previous years. The other issue is lights from cars at night driving in. It's gonna flash right at my building.
it happens to be sort of in my neighborhood. I live about 2 miles from there and have to drive by it in order to get to my street, so I'm really familiar with it. And it's been a restaurant more than it's been anything else. I think this is at least the third restaurant there, so it's not really changing in a way.
But it's gonna have an open patio, and if they get music, that's gonna carry that sound.
I think in order to get music, they're going to have to seek more permissions than they're getting right now.
On
Yeah,
Mondays.
so this application's only before you for the special permit for the lot coverage. It's not site plan review for any of the other issues. If they do want a entertainment license, they'd have to go to the select board
Right.
to get that permit for the music.
So this special permit, just to clarify, is not to allow a restaurant. It's not to allow any use on the property. It's simply to allow lot coverage at 71.3% rather than the threshold of 70%.
Well, I was just throwing my hat in the ring.
Yes, sir, you want to come forward?
Yes, my name is Pete Nielsen, and I live across the street, 4 acres on the corner, the wooded corner that's directly across the street from this. My question is, if they're going to be adding a patio that increases the number of patrons that they're going to be having, what consideration are they having for parking? That's
For what?
for parking. If they have more patrons that are going to be using that patio.
You want to talk about your parking?
So, they're not going to be making any changes to parking. Parking's been approved by this board previously.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
The parking, there's 53 parking spaces on this lot. Correct.
A lot of other people.
That is correct. There are some apartments there. There's an office building there. Merrill's office is actually there. But the parking that's been approved, my understanding is it's been approved by this board in the context of a restaurant. And we're not making any changes to that whatsoever. And the parking's adequate. As is.
Then nobody will be sitting outside.
I don't follow.
They'll be sitting outside on the patio.
Well,
Right, but the more patrons that you have.
Yeah, parking is,
Well, I'm sure they're doing it in hopes of having more business. The restaurants that have been there have failed.
parking's determined by the number of tables, too.
Right.
yeah, parking is dictated by seat number, I believe. And the seat number, I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it was calculated specifically to conform with the, is it on the, okay.
Yeah, bottom right.
I can blow it up a little bit. Yes, we have 53 parking spaces down here. For restaurant, the requirement is half a space per seat, which results in 68 seats. 34 parking spaces needed for the restaurant use. You calculate it with the other uses, the office space, the residential units. You have 53 parking spaces required. We have 53 spaces provided. So it meets the parking requirement.
That might be for the restaurant, but that,
No, that's for the restaurant and the other uses, as you can see right here. You have office space, 1-bedroom residential units, 2-bedroom residential units, and then the restaurant here. And
If you're going to speak,
I know, I'm sorry.
yeah,
So you're locked into the number of spaces for the restaurant, which means you can't exceed the number of seats.
that's correct.
Okay, so if you're going to be expanding to the patio, you're going to be losing inside seats.
That's correct. If you'd like, I can pull the floor plan up.
Yeah.
That's not before us right now.
No, yeah, I know, I just, but to answer some questions.
Yep, I just didn't want there to be any confusion on what
Right.
we were.
Right, no,
Sure.
I'm not confused.
Would we like to see the floor plan?
No.
that answers my question.
Yeah.
does it?
They're not exceeding any more
Right.
seating
That's correct.
for the restaurant.
Right.
That meets everything. I think there's going to be a lot of problems with parking. But was with other restaurants that were there also. They might end up being across the street. That's where I live.
Well, we don't anticipate there being any problems with parking. The office space is not used after 5 PM, so those parking spaces are going to be available for restaurant use as well. And with the seating that's been requested at the restaurant, it fits, it works.
Well,
And we hope that there's not a problem in the future, but we don't anticipate there being one.
Okay, but let's not have back and forth for the floor.
If I may, I would just offer to any of the abutters that have questions about the process and how a restaurant might come to fruition at the site, please come by the planning office. We can help you walk through that process. Who you might go talk to in town to find out more about that application process. Okay? But tonight, again, it's purely about the lot coverage.
For the lot coverage in the patio, we're good. Jim?
Oh, I just want to make a comment about the trucking and noise and trash. This has come up a lot. I happen to live in a site where 3 o'clock every Tuesday morning, I hear the whack of the dumpster, and we have had many people try to change that, but I think the transportation and the town's made a vote that to keep the traffic clear, that we allow trucking to get in and out in the middle of the night, so we're not blocking up the streets. There has been movement in the past to restrict it till 7. If you have a neighbor that's nice enough to do that for you, keep that neighbor, but I don't believe you can stop them from doing it, because if you could, I'd be doing it, because I got woken up this morning at 3:30. I do every Tuesday morning. Ba-boom!
Is
And we
that
can't
just
stop
downtown?
it.
You're downtown. Is that just downtown?
I don't know, but I was told that the town made a decision to allow on the main roads and to get the traffic done early to get in and out as possible, and they couldn't restrict it on the time. And that, you can look into it, but I think that decision's been handled and decided by the selectmen, not us, and it's a done deal. If you have a neighbor that's nice enough to make it 7 o'clock, keep the neighbor that way, that's a great thing.
Or a trash hauler that's.
Or a
willing
trash
to-
hauler that'll be sympathetic.
Yeah,
But I don't have one.
because there is the end of the day, too, so.
Yeah,
Well, and I don't believe we condition patio and
No, we
lot
can't.
coverages,
we
so
can't, it's,
we're not going to.
it's another board's issue on that, not ours, regrettably.
So if they were gonna have music or anything else outside, that
Monday
is the selectmen,
Correct.
select board on Monday nights. And so I'd keep your eye on that, because at that point, that's when you might want to make comments about sound mitigation. Okay? Because we've run into this with Bad Martha's.
We certainly
yeah.
did,
Yeah,
So,
right, but, well, we'll just have to see how it goes.
Yeah.
But we would like to request a,
You have to close the hearing first,
Oh,
special permit.
I move that we close this hearing.
is there a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Pam?
We don't have a blue light. Looks like we may have lost Pam.
Might have lost you. Okay, passes.
5-0.
So it's 5-0 then. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we'll have a positive motion for the next
For the
meeting
next
Yeah.
on
meeting.
June 11th.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
wow, early for one thing.
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
You know, I understand why they're concerned, because they live there.
Yeah.
Of course I do, but I didn't know there was a street back there.
I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, sitting here trying to figure out, where do you find that street?
Now, I have friends that live there.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
You
It's
know
a,
the
it's a
street
little,
that
it goes down to the bike path.
Yeah,
Yes.
it goes down,
It's a U.
yeah, but where do you enter the road? Is it from the little street that goes between
Between
Silver Lounge?
Silver Lounge and
So
what
you go
used to be
down over
soft
the
as a
railroad
grave.
tracks and then turn left?
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta come and take a
I
look.
never noticed that street, but yeah,
Yeah.
now that you mention it, sure.
I've sold a house on it, so I gotta know it's there.
Oh, right. At this point, you probably sold a house in every neighborhood.
Pretty much after the amount of years I've been doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Okay, Planning Department report.
Well, things have been busy. I feel like we say that every time. Exciting news is we had our open house for our downtown parking management plan. So we had a lot of folks come at the morning and provide input. We've taken those boards that we had for the public, and through that open house, we've put them in town hall, in the hallway. So we encourage folks to stop by and provide more input. We've also left the survey open, so we're hoping that folks, visit that survey. We're working hard on Paul's Shivrix Pond project. We're looking to put the bid for the fishing platform out to, the plan's out to bid very soon.
For this season.
We'd like to, yeah.
Yeah. So before you go on past your parking project,
Oh, sorry.
you want to just say what the outline of the project is, what changes would result if your plan goes forward?
Well, so that's the whole thing. We're not sure yet. This is all about collecting data, analyzing data, and then taking feedback from the public. So there's all sorts of different ideas on the table. Some folks have come up to me and suggested a one-way traffic pattern on Main Street. Some folks have talked about a parking garage at the Peg Noonan lot. Some folks have discussed the idea of paid parking on Main Street, bring that back and try to create turnover. Off-street parking or off-site parking at the Lawrence School and Mullen Hall, a shuttle service. Some folks think everything's fine. So we're just trying to take all that information in, give it to our consultants who are working hard for us, and say, what do you think, based on the data that we've collected over the course of the summer, what makes sense for Falmouth to consider moving forward? Should we
And
consider?
how will decisions be made?
So decisions would be made likely starting here. If something that this department can bring forward to the board to see if that's something that you would endorse, then we would likely move on to a board like the select board, because they're ultimate deciders in the
Right.
community. But it would certainly be a long process to implement strategies that might change the way people park. So, we did our first round of data collection last week. So we got our pre-Memorial Day conditions. So what we'll likely be doing is collecting in June, July, and August to sort of get a trend for that period of time, and get a sense for what it looks like in the summertime.
Yeah, well, I see you've still got your yellow vest up there in the office.
We do?
Yeah,
Yep. Brand new ones just arrived today.
yeah, and you've had good weather to go out, you're getting tanned. Yeah.
This is not from the parking analysis. No, we actually were out on a Saturday where we started in rain, so
Oh.
it didn't work out very well. We couldn't collect that information, but, so it'll be an ongoing thing. And, I should say that it's not just about parking, it's about signage. So our wayfinding program, or our wayfinding study, is all about connecting folks from the bike path to downtown, through downtown. When they get out of a parking lot, create signage that helps them know where they're going, how long of a walk it might be. Trying to encourage folks to park further away so that we don't have as much traffic congestion in the area. Because sometimes in July, you really can't
Right.
get anywhere downtown.
Right.
It's the ultimate in traffic calming.
Yes, it
I
is.
mean, really, I'm serious.
It really
you
is.
know? I mean, if you change this to, I've been down on Main Street, early in the morning. People are driving 40, 50 miles an hour down Main Street when there's no traffic.
Yep.
So if you make that a one-way, that's what you're gonna get.
Oh, I don't think they'd make it one way. First of all,
Yeah.
every retail outlet along the road would be absolutely opposed to it, because all the research is that the greatest activity you can get in and out of your stores is parking on both sides of the street.
And yet we've got such a narrow street that it becomes difficult.
Well,
when
but
you've
it-
got a
For the
semi.
people who can't parallel park, that's what the parking lots are for.
There was a semi coming down the street, and I had to pull
Yeah,
over to let it
yeah.
go by because
is
of
part
the
of the
big
charm.
vehicles.
Yeah, yeah.
Parallel parking is a skill that, it needs practice.
It
I don't
does.
have it.
I mean, sometimes I don't get it right either. You gotta do it a couple of times.
Yeah,
I come
that's
down,
okay.
I just go right to Mullen Hall.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I actually believe that when they put the path through the new Shivricks
Yeah.
Pond Park,
Yeah.
people will be using that,
I think they
just
will.
because it's pretty.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, anything else going at the planning department?
So tomorrow, we have a zoning bylaw review working group meeting. So tomorrow, we'll be talking about Article 10, which is our non-conforming section. Our consultants have drafted a new version for us to consider, and that was part of the original recodification. So we'll be discussing that. Again, that's a Zoom meeting, open to the public. Anyone can attend. The Zoom link is on our website. It's also on the agenda, which is publicly posted. We just, we sort of educate the public about how it works, but, they can join the meeting and we can instruct them on how to make comments and how to ask
Nobody
questions.
shows up. And this is mostly a ZBA thing.
Correct. They
This
would
is
help.
their
or they
bylaw,
would-
really.
Yeah, they would be working on all nonconformities. And as I mentioned, Paul is very active, and so we're working very hard to get those plans for the Shivricks fishing platform and viewing platform out to bid. That's a top priority for us. Help me, are there other things? We just had a short-term rental working group meeting right before this meeting. So there was a lot of healthy discussion about what other communities are doing related to short-term rentals. So we're looking forward to the next conversation about what can we do based on what others are doing.
And the group of young mothers who were featured in an Enterprise article with the photograph and everything on what a problem short-term rental is in their neighborhoods. Their spokesperson, I guess we would call her Liz, was here to present a lot of research she had done on that, of what other towns on the Cape, but also other resort areas across the country, all the way over to Jackson Hole. So it's, we're collecting quite a bit of information, and Melinda is staffing all that. So it's coming along.
And applications thus far are relatively stable. So we've got a lot of ADUs.
Yeah.
And I should say, a lot of accessory apartments, you know.
I would like to request an update of how many we have. I
Yeah.
think we're approving 3 a night.
Yeah.
And we have been for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I would like to, if you could graph, you know, I think there's a trend
Yeah.
happening, if you could
Yep.
present it, because it's, it really seems to be accelerating.
It wasn't the last count 53?
I don't remember, that's why I
think
would
it-
like to have an
Ballpark.
update.
Yeah, it was right around there somewhere.
Yeah.
And since then, we've done at least a dozen,
That's what I recollection
Yeah,
is, yeah.
it's been
but I
busy.
haven't counted.
I'd just like to have the number in my head if I could request you guys do that for us.
Sure.
Well, and you said earlier, it stands to reason, there's really not much land left in town.
Right. Well, and what we keep hearing is, you know, what an applicant said this evening, that they're constructing it for a family member.
Well, that's
Be it
perfect.
a parent, a sibling, or you know, a child that they had, yeah, trying to think of the word.
They're called children.
Yeah, yeah.
But I heard that the state's gonna take away the requirement that it has to be, they can't rent both of them. That was the gist of our bylaw, that we really fought to put it in there.
Yeah.
And I believe the state wants to take that away.
Yes, but it depends on whether or not they put in language about towns are able to further, to embroider on the law, which is typical when they take away something from a municipality. They're very apt to put on, and you can add stuff if you want, and they've got language for that.
And in some ways, it may not be that bad. If somebody has a house, has 2 units in it, and they're renting them out, whether it's a year-round, or they could use one as a year-round, they could use one as seasonal, it adds to the housing stock that's rentable.
Well, it may not be, my main concern is the character of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
If they keep that language, then I'm not going to be really too upset, but it really depends on what they eventually pass. And we have representatives who are very responsive to us when we call and ask them to please do this, do that. So we can, you know, at least let our representatives know what we think.
Yep.
Yeah. That's it?
For now. Yeah. We have nothing else. There's plenty more that we're doing, but not relevant to the planning board.
Okay, good. Paul, committee reports? What's this that we were given right?
I have an issue on, 2 issues on the Water Quality Management Committee. They've been pretty active in a number of things, and I included a summary of the minutes on the ocean outfall, because I know everyone's very interested in that. But basically, they had a meeting with a very large meeting with a lot of the state agency regulatory people on a preliminary effort to get permitting for ocean outfall. There's not been an ocean outfall approved for maybe 30 years, and this will be the first one. So they focused on hydrodynamic modeling, eelgrass surveys, marine borings this fall. But the town emphasized the fact that it's essential for Falmouth to pursue an ocean outfall to meet the requirements of wastewater in the future. The other issue was, I included a presentation made on the IA regulations. I did comparison of IA regulations in various towns in the area, Mashpee, Wareham, Westport, Marion, and Tisbury. And then went on to other areas. It's not a Cape Cod issue. I'm not going to take the time to go through all of this. I think it's pretty comprehensive, but if you want a little background on the issue of IA regulations, this is probably a good primer to take a look at. It's a big issue for the town of Falmouth.
I don't know how many of you ever see the New York Times and follow any of their op-ed writers, but Paul Krugman is kind of their in-house economist.
Oh, yeah.
And his article today was about, related to this, because an impact of climate change that gets little attention is rising ocean water and increasing groundwater. We're going to wind up in relatively smelly neighborhoods, lots of septic system overflow. And he was saying he grew up on the South Shore of Long Island, where they had not sewered when he was growing up, and have since sewered everything. And of course, Falmouth is in the midst of that process, but it's a slow process, as we know. So it's getting more attention than it used to.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, Florida has a very bad problem with that.
Yeah,
But they have been sewering,
They've been elevating
Yeah.
the roadways too, to keep them from being inundated. and-
But when I lived down there, you knew when you had a lot of rain after a week of rain. You knew that groundwater was high.
yeah.
But, city in the middle of Florida, Plant City, that's all sewered.
What city's that?
Plant City,
Oh, that's its name, Plant City?
Plant City, strawberry capital of, or used to be. Now it's like the Amazon capital of Florida.
Oh, oh,
They've actually put in an airstrip in there for Amazon planes. And it's all warehouses and distribution.
my gosh.
But it's not on the agenda, so we'll
No, that's it. All right, it's interesting. Paul, thank you. Yeah, and these are all coastal communities you've got here.
It's very interesting reading.
Yeah. But the state of Florida, the governor of, apparently has outlawed even talking about climate change. Interesting. Any other committee reports? No, and we heard already about the short-term rental, and we're going to get more people coming, I think, as word gets out that that's what the board is considering as a first step toward moving toward regulating that. In that case, are there any announcements?
I have one.
Oh, okay.
Now that the planning department has solved the issues at Shiverick's Pond in its totality, I'm moving on. I've been
Thanks.
advocating for a group for the, celebrate the semi-quincentennial anniversary of the country.
of the,
Quincent is 500, semi is half 500, it's the 250th anniversary. So we've been talking about that for about several months. We had a meeting with the town manager, and he's put an item on the agenda for Monday night, June 3rd. We have a small core group, we put a presentation together. A copy of it is here if you're interested in looking at it. So we're going to be pushing the select board to endorse the concept. Now, this is important because the entire state is doing something. There's information here where there's a new law that came out, and they're assigning 40 people to a special commission on the 250th anniversary, including towns and Wampanoag and everybody. But basically, the towns are pretty much on their own. So we have a core group, and we're going to make a presentation on Monday night to the select board, and hopefully they'll endorse it, set up a working, what they want to call a working group, and move forward on planning for this particular event coming on in
What's the
early
date
2
for that?
years.
What's the date you're working toward?
July 4th, 2026.
26.
Now, the town of Concord is doing it big time. They're going to begin on the year before and start with the ride of Paul Revere and go through all the other events that happen and end with the signing of the Declaration of Independence. So they're looking for a lot of money to do things over a 2-year period. We're not talking about that. We're talking about doing something relatively simple, even less than what was done for the bicentennial. So, 50 years ago.
Well, we'll
that's
see
moving
what shape the country is in 2026. Who wants to celebrate and who doesn't? Oh, that was fast.
Some people may want to celebrate more.
That's the way it works.
Would you like motion for adjournment?
Yes, please.
Not yet,
No,
not
No,
yet.
no, okay.
There's some
Agenda.
correspondence.
Oh,
Correspondence?
oh,
YMCA.
Yes. So, as you know, you voted to refer the YMCA site plan review application to the Cape Cod Commission.
right.
They've scheduled a opening of their subcommittee for June 12th at 5 o'clock. It will be a Zoom event. So, again, June 12th, 2024 at 5 o'clock, Cape Cod Commission. What we'll do is we'll try to post this to our webpage, this announcement,
Oh,
so if
okay.
folks are interested, they can tune in and participate.
Okay. Good, have you gotten any preliminary reaction from them?
No, no. I mean, I've talked to folks who are very excited. That's pretty much the extent of it for input that I've received. We do want to cover a future meeting schedule issue that we've discovered. So your
What is-
next,
Yeah, you alluded to it earlier. We're switched to,
your next meeting is June 11th. The meeting after that would be June 25th. I'm on vacation that week. Melinda's covering the Historical Commission meeting that evening, and she'll be down, well, you'll be in this room. And so there's no staff for your meeting. So you have two options in my mind. You can either, well, I guess three. One, cancel the meeting, which isn't great. Option two, reschedule to June 18th, which happens to be on the eve of a holiday, June 19th. Or reschedule the meeting to July 2nd, which happens to be the week of.
oh, that's
4th.
really bad.
So there doesn't appear to be a great option before you, so pick between three really not so good
We
ones.
can't cancel it because we have hearings, so.
Didn't we give the 18th to one of the applicants already to say that?
The 11th,
The 11th.
but we haven't notified for the 25th.
No, but you can't cancel the meeting, you just figure out another date.
I'd just soon go with the 18th. As a veteran of doing them every week for a number of years, it doesn't bother me to go 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I'd rather do the,
18th?
Yeah, the 18th makes better sense. The 2nd, July 2nd is really,
Yeah, it's not great.
No.
And if you don't do that, then you're into July
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you've
Yeah.
got an awfully long time that you
Yeah.
haven't had a meeting.
right, so not good. Okay, so we'll agree then, our next meeting is June 11th,
Yeah.
and the subsequent meeting is June 18th.
Okay, very
And
good.
then no meeting until into July.
Until
Right.
July 9th, right?
July 9th, yep,
Good.
Okay.
very good.
I think I'm going to be away. I've got tickets at Tanglewood, I think on the 15th, but I don't think it coincided with. Might have. I'll let you know.
That's my old stomping grounds, Tanglewood.
Really?
Yep, that's where I grew up.
Oh, yeah.
Weren't you lucky?
Where?
Not at Tanglewood, but around that area. In fact, I
A
worked
beautiful
across the
area.
street.
Was that Mansfield, were you talking?
No,
Lennox.
Lennox,
Lennox, okay, sorry.
Out west.
Western Mass.
Yeah, it's just really nice to be there.
It's really nice.
Yeah,
Get all those old people out there listening to music.
old people. Well, I'll be there with them, an old person.
okay, shall I
So-
move adjournment then?
Yes, please.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.